What? You're pregnant? When my sister Christina called me over, I found out she was not only married, but also pregnant. Yeah, it's a shotgun wedding. I thought Christina's boyfriend Connolly would take things step by step, but maybe that's just what young couples do. Come to think of it, they've been dating for almost 2 years now. I was actually wondering when they would tie the knot. I was relieved for a moment, but then I asked Christina if our parents knew about this. That's when I understood the other reason she called me here. Sis, could you be there when I tell Dad and Mom? Christina pleaded with me, almost like she was praying. It's no wonder she's relying so heavily on me. Dad is a calm and kind person. He rarely gets angry. But Mom is the problem. Back when we still lived at home, Mom was strict. She hated deviations and loved the word serious. When Christina came home past curfew from hanging out with friends, Mom would lecture her until midnight. During those times, Christina always cried. Yet Mom would continue to lecture her for hours and even out-argue us. So I never dared to go against Mom. But Christina, in her rebellious phase, would just go out again the next day after being scolded. I always thought she should stop, but Christina wouldn't listen, so it was her own responsibility if she got scolded. That's why I understand Christina's hesitation to report this to Mom. There might even be some backlash for me, but still, for my dear sister, I decided to help and promised to be there for the announcement. On the day, Christina and Connolly were visibly tense. Especially Connolly, who seemed to still regret having a child before marriage, thinking it should have been in the right order. In today's world, it's not uncommon for children to come first, but personally, I still think the marriage then children sequence is preferable. But now is not the time for such thoughts. We're about to face Mom, the greatest barrier to getting married. As we enter the house, the always kind Dad greets us.
Connolly, good of you to come. Christina must be busy with work. Thanks for coming. Come in, come in.
Apparently, Christina only told our parents there's something important to discuss, not revealing the details yet. Heading to the living room, we find Mom with a stern expression. Though I'm not the one reporting, the atmosphere was so heavy, I would hate to be in that position. Silently cheering for Connolly and Christina, the announcement begins. The seriousness on the faces of the two and Mom says it all. Dad, even in this heavy atmosphere, has a soft expression. That's Dad for you. As I was thinking this, Connolly was the first to speak.
Ariella, Darren, you've both been so warm and supportive since we started dating. First, I want to express my deep gratitude for that. Thank you.
Connolly, no longer looking frail, starts speaking clearly as if he flipped a switch. Even Mom nods slightly to this. So, what brings you here today? Mom asks, and Connolly takes a breath before beginning.
Please allow me to marry Christina.
Hearing this, Dad exclaims in admiration, and Mom silently watches Connolly and Christina. After a pause, Mom says, Connolly, please take good care of Christina. Relief washes over Connolly and Christina's faces. If it were just about the marriage, this would have been fine. But the real issue starts now. As I watch, Connolly looks determinedly at Mom.
Ariella, Darren, there's one more thing we need to tell you. Oh, what's that?
Dad responds, intrigued. And then, with a strained voice, Connolly reveals the truth.
In fact, Christina is already carrying a new life in her womb, our child.
Connolly said. At that moment, Dad froze.
What? So it's a shotgun marriage?
Connolly nodded slowly. Dad looked as if he couldn't believe it. Then Mom turned her intense pressure on Christina and Connolly.
What are you two thinking? Sure, in today's world, there are all kinds of couples. It's not unheard of to have a child first. But do you have the awareness to be parents when you have a child without preparation? It's incredibly irresponsible to plan to have a child like this.
Mom's point was valid. Any parent would think the same. I understand it too, now that I have a child. If my daughter Allison came to me in the same situation, I wouldn't be furious. I would definitely admonish her. Of course, as a parent, I want my child to be happy. I was supposed to be there to support Christina and Connolly, but I couldn't argue against Mom's reasoning. Then Connolly made his move, pleading earnestly, but Mom was relentless. A mere performance of pleading is not enough. Did you think that would show you're serious? I want to see results, not just gestures. No one could respond to Mom's words except Connolly. It's personally reasonable for you to be angry, Ariella. Normally marriage comes first, then children. But we did it the other way around. I understand that we're open to criticism. Connolly talked about his reflections on the situation and passionately expressed his feelings. Despite all this, I want to spend my life with Christina and our child in her womb. This feeling is no lie. Then Dad joined the conversation. Connolly, do you have something to prove that? Dad looked unusually serious, even slightly angry. Connolly, unfazed by the parental pressure, replied, Sadly, I have no way to express this feeling, other than words right now, so I stake my future self on it. What do you mean? Dad asked, tilting his head. Connolly pointed to himself. If you ever hear a single complaint about me from Christina, I'll step back quietly. I'll even write a divorce paper right here, if needed. That's how serious I am. Please approve our marriage. Connolly's fervor left us all, including the parents, speechless. Then Mom broke into a smile. To think you're so smitten with Christina, Connolly. Please take good care of her. With someone as wonderful as you, my husband and I can be at ease. While agreeing with Mom, Dad also showed his support. Ah, yes. Sorry for the harsh question earlier. I just wanted to hear your true feelings. Our daughter is precious. Please take good care of Christina. Darren? Ariella? Connolly, perhaps relieved, cried and smiled. Thus their marriage was approved, and they decided to book a venue for the wedding before the birth. The pregnancy was still in its early stages, so there was no issue if we moved quickly. And so we started preparing for the wedding in haste. A few weeks later, on my way back from work, I spotted Christina. She was determined to work until just before giving birth. Just as I was about to talk to her, a man ran up behind her. They waved at each other, clearly acquaintances, but something felt off to me. They were close, almost snuggling as they walked. And the man occasionally placed his hand on Christina's belly. To confirm the man's identity, I called out to Christina. Hey, Christina! As soon as she saw me, Christina seemed flustered. Ah, sis, still working at this hour. Must be tough. And what about you? More importantly, who's this? The man responded in a matter-of-fact manner. He introduced himself as Marcus, a junior colleague of Christina's.
I'll be off then, Christina. See you tomorrow.
Yeah. Was it just me, or did Marcus almost call Christina by a nickname just now? I asked Christina about her relationship with Marcus. She said they were just senior and junior colleagues, but it seemed to me like there was more to it. Suspicious, I decided to test Christina. By the way, have you told people at work about your pregnancy? I've told my boss. I plan to tell others later, when the timing is right. I see. This made me even more suspicious. When I saw them walking together earlier, Marcus had been touching Christina's belly, in the way many do with a pregnant woman's belly. Does that mean Marcus knows about the pregnancy? I pressed Christina about this. There's nothing wrong if there's nothing there, but I couldn't shake off my suspicions. Could it be that the child... But sharing such suspicions with everyone carries great risks. It could lead to a major dispute if I'm wrong. I decided to stay silent, but resolved to confront Christina and Marcus if solid evidence emerged. Then came the wedding day. Amidst the festive atmosphere and celebratory mood, the ceremony proceeded. Their marriage was approved by our parents, and the pregnancy was accepted. Despite this being a happy occasion, I couldn't fully rejoice because of the issue with Marcus. There had been no suspicious behavior since that day. Was I mistaken? Or could I not shake off the thought that Marcus and Christina were having an affair? I started to believe. This belief was confirmed by something my daughter Allison said. As the wedding reached its climax and Christina was talking with the guests, Allison approached her. Christina noticed and spoke to her. Allison, thanks for being here today. Will you be friends with my baby when it's born? Allison was silent for a while. Then Connolly spoke to her. Allison, I'm also asking you, will you be friends? I'd be so happy to see Allison play with my child. Then Allison shockingly said to Christina, pointing at Marcus, Why are you marrying him? The baby's daddy in your belly is this man right here. Allison then pointed to Marcus. Marcus showed a moment of disturbance. Ha ha! What an imaginative kid! Maybe because we both wear glasses, she thought we'd look alike. Marcus tried to deflect, but Allison kept on revealing astonishing things. It's true. The baby in the belly said so. The daddy is this man. It was just a child's word. Most would dismiss it as a silly statement, but I believed Allison's words. Not just because I saw Marcus and Christina being close the other day, but I trusted Allison's statement above all. Allison, now 6, has shown an uncanny intuition since she started talking. That's a keen intuition. For instance, there was a day when my husband was about to leave for work. It was a stormy day, difficult for commuting. Despite that, as a working adult, my husband was determined to leave. Then Allison said, he should avoid the usual route he takes to work. Usually, it's a shortcut that gets him to the office faster. There are no forests or rivers around. I heard from my husband that the roads are usually quiet and pleasant to drive on. So I thought Allison was just expressing her concern, but her warning was spot on. The usual route was blocked due to a truck's cargo spilling all over the road. That day, my husband decided to believe Allison and took a different route. Had he not listened to her, who knows what might have happened? Allison's intuition continued to amaze us. My husband and I started to trust her choices whenever we were in doubt. That's why when Allison said the child in Christina's womb was Marcus's, my suspicions turned into conviction. I confronted Christina. Christina, tell me the truth. Is the child you're carrying really Connolly's? Christina, visibly shaken, said it was. But her demeanor was so defensive, it invited more suspicion from everyone around. Christina desperately tried to clear the misunderstanding. Come on, that's ridiculous. If it were Marcus's child, I wouldn't be marrying Connolly, right? Then surprisingly, Mom intervened. That's right. Normally, if it wasn't Connolly's child, you wouldn't be able to go through with the wedding due to guilt, would you? Mom seemed to be defending Christina. Christina, perhaps relieved, agreed with Mom. Exactly. I'm not that foolish. Everyone, please think calmly. The others seemed convinced by her words. But then Mom suggested something unexpected to Christina. However, to clear everyone's doubts completely, why not do a DNA test? The delivery is in a few months, right? Christina's momentum vanished instantly. Mom, undeterred, continued. If it's Connolly's child, there's no problem. Connolly, you haven't completely ruled out the possibility, right? Connolly nodded slightly. Christiana's face began to pale, and she was sweating despite the air conditioning. Well... Before Christina could finish, Mom approached her. What does that mean? Is the child really from that man over there? Christina frantically denied it, but Mom was relentless. Then take the test. But remember, if it turns out that the child isn't Connolly's, not only will I disown you, but I'll also send you to a harsh workplace I know. Even if you're family, they're very strict there, and I can't guarantee what will happen to you. Christina immediately apologized. I'm sorry. I was having an affair with Marcus. Hey! Marcus reacted with shock, but it was too late. Mom glared at Christina with fury. You always end up doing such disloyal things. When I heard about the baby, I was willing to forgive you based on what Connolly said. But now I find out the child is with this youngster. You have some nerve deceiving me, you know."
"Youngster?"
Marcus seemed frightened by Mom's anger. No one dared to intervene. Christina was trembling with fear. Mom then apologized to Connolly. "Connolly, I'm so sorry. You're such a wonderful person. And my daughter has done something foolish. No apology can suffice." Mom continued to apologize. Connolly was clearly troubled by the situation. As Christina tried to sneak away, Mom caught her back, freezing her in place. "You know what happens if you try to run, right?" Her tone was decidedly masculine. After that, Mom greeted the guests and announced the cancellation of the wedding. Connolly seemed angry, but apparently his feelings cooled off in the face of Mom's intensity. Subsequently, Connolly and Christina broke off their engagement. As for Christina, she was sent to the labor-intensive job Mom had mentioned. 1 month after giving birth, she was sent there. It seems she's working live-in, being rigorously trained from morning till night. Initially, Christina planned to escape, but by the time work ended, she was too exhausted to even think about running away. Christina also faced harassment from other female employees there, leading to both mental and physical exhaustion. Marcus, on the other hand, was being ignored by his colleagues at work due to the incident at the wedding. He too faced persistent harassment from female employees and apparently lost a significant amount of weight. Connolly seemed a bit down after all these events, but with encouragement from my husband and me, he seems to have recovered. He's now working hard in a different region. Our family has continued to be amazed by Allison's sharp intuition. Recently, she said something interesting.
"Mommy, I'm going to have a little brother."
"Really?" "I'm probably going to give birth to a son soon." "Why?" "Because it's Allison's intuition." In any case, I'm looking forward to a lively family life.